Are you facing the challenge of selling a loved one's home, but feeling unsure how the probate process might affect it? Whether you are an executor, an administrator, or an heir, navigating the probate process can feel overwhelming. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what the probate process is, how it impacts real estate, and the crucial steps you need to take before selling the home. So stay tuned, because these key details can save you a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of frustration. Now, in case you don't know me, my name is Denise Davis. I'm the owner of North Carolina Probate Solutions and the owner of Fresh Start Property Solutions in North Carolina. Now let's start with the basics. Now, throughout this video, you may hear me refer to the deceased person as the decedent. Now, when a person dies, their personal belongings, or a better term would be assets. These assets will need to be managed. A decision will need to be made. What will happen to these assets? Will they be passed down to the spouse, to the children, to the parents, to the aunts, the uncles, to the cousins? What will happen to these things? Because of this question, a court-supervised process called probate was put in place. Now, what probate does, it ensures that the decedent's assets are properly distributed according to the North Carolina laws, or according to the decedent's wishes if they left a will. But most importantly, it ensures that any debt or any taxes owed by the decedent's estate are paid first. Now, because of this, it's very important that family do not start giving things away or even taking things for themselves, because these assets may need to be sold to pay creditors off. Now, how the process will start: the court will appoint an executor if the decedent left a will, or an administrator if the decedent did not leave a will. And whether it's an executor or an administrator, the responsibilities are the same. They are responsible for gathering the decedent's assets, for notifying creditors, for paying bills, and for distributing anything that's left to the heirs or the beneficiaries. Now, real estate is one of the most significant assets in a person's estate. And if the real estate wasn't placed in a trust, there's a chance that it may need to go through probate. Now, in North Carolina, real estate does not have to go through probate, usually unless two things happen. One, there's not enough money in the estate to pay creditors off, or two, there are multiple heirs who can't agree on what should be done with the property. For example, one may want to sell it, one may want to keep it, one may want to live in it, one may want to use it as an Airbnb. But usually, even if there's one heir who wants to sell the property, the courts will force the sale of the house, or the other heirs can buy that heir out. Now, if the court has forced the sale of the home, or if all the heirs have come together and agreed to sell the home, there's some crucial steps that you need to consider before selling the property. Number one, are you going to sell the property as is, or are you going to list it on the market for top dollar? Now, if the property is in need of major repairs or very outdated, it may be better to sell the property as is. But if the property is in pretty good condition, the roof is good, the HVAC is good, the structure, the foundation is good, maybe just need a little minor repairs, then it probably would be better to list it on the market for top dollar. Number two, you want to have the property appraised, or ask a realtor to do a CMA, which is a comparable market analysis on the property. In doing so, this is going to show you a range that buyers are willing to pay for a property like yours. They look at similar properties close in distance and see what these properties sold for, and this gives a strong idea of what another buyer will pay for your property. Three, I would recommend that you have the property pre-inspected. I think it's a good idea to find out if there's any major issues going on with the property. Sometimes we just look at the exterior, the things that we can see with our eyes, be it inside or outside, when we may not actually know what's going on behind the walls or underneath the house or in the attic. And having a pre-inspection done, you can find out if there's any major damages to the property and try to address these things before selling it. 4, I would also highly suggest that you have a survey on the property. This is just to ensure that everything is where it needs to be. You want to make sure, for example, that the driveway isn't also on the neighbor's property, or the neighbor's property is on your property. If there's a fence around the property, you want to make sure that that fence is where it's supposed to be, that it's on your land and not on the neighbor's land. If by chance it is on the neighbor's land, there's a chance that the neighbors can come and tell you to take it down. So you want to make sure that everything is where it's supposed to be, so you can sell the property and don't have to worry about this coming up later, closer to the sale or to the close of the property. And 5, I would also suggest that you do a title search. You want to make sure that there are no clouds on the property. You want to make sure there's no mechanic liens, no tax liens, no HOA liens. You want to make sure that the title is clean, so when it comes time to close, you can easily transfer the property or transfer the title over to the buyer. And 6, I would recommend you find a realtor who understands the probate process. Someone who can help navigate you through it, who understands the timeline, and who knows the crucial steps that you must take before selling the property. Now, if a decision has been made to sell the property, one of the things that you will need to do is open up an estate checking account. In order to do this, you'll need to go to the IRS website and apply for an EIN number. This EIN number will take the place of your Social Security number when opening up the estate checking account. Now, once the property is sold, the money from the sale will need to go into the estate account. And from there, you will use the money in the estate account to first pay off any creditors, any taxes, or anything else that may come up that pertains to the estate. After everything else has been taken care of, whatever is left will be distributed to the beneficiaries or the heirs. Now, if everyone has agreed to sell the property, or even if the court has forced the sale of the property, it's very important that you continue to pay the mortgage on the property, because if not, it can be pulled into foreclosure. You want to make sure that you continue to pay the taxes if there's any. You want to make sure that you pay any HOA fees. And you want to make sure that you keep the house maintained as well as the yard maintained. Now, remember, like I said, in North Carolina, a house does not have to be pulled into probate. So if no creditors came forth, or if there was enough money in the estate to pay the creditors off, then the house can just be sold the traditional route after the 90-day notice to creditor period is completed. If there are multiple heirs, then at closing, the attorney will write a check to each of the heirs and distribute it to each one. Now, I hope this video has helped you to gain an understanding of the probate process and what it takes, or what you should do before actually selling the home. Now, to learn more about the probate process, check out some of my other videos where I go deeper into the process, giving you a better understanding of what it is you need to do and what you need to know to successfully navigate the process. Also, if you want to reach out to me about selling a home that was included in the probate, selling a traditional home, or selling a home you inherited, I'll leave my contact information below. Until the next video, be blessed.